Trying to pinpoint exactly what it is that makes the Legend of Zelda series so fantastic is surprisingly difficult. After all, there are some pretty sweeping differences between its main entries, with each one typically built around its own unique ideas, mechanics, and art style. As a result, different people tend to love the franchise for different reasons. And thankfully, that means for those without a Nintendo console, there are still plenty of great open-world games like Zelda that can be enjoyed on the PS4 or PS5. Let's jump in with Piece Odyssey. Like the latter Zelda games, it boasts a sprawling open world full of wonder and puzzles, and even fits in aesthetically due to its visuals and nautical themes. Granted, Piece Odyssey will appeal more to fans of the popular anime series than it would to those with no interest in the medium, but the gameplay itself is a lot of fun nonetheless. At its heart, Darksiders II is an action RPG with hack-and-slash elements, and some wonderfully thought-out puzzles. In this regard, it's very similar to Breath of the Wild, though the tone and color palette of Gunfire Games' title is often a lot darker, as the name kind of implies. Although it may be hard to believe, there are still plenty of people out there who have never played Skyrim, and if you're one of such people, then you're severely missing out. There's an endless amount of things to do and see in this title, and it's here, as well through the heavy emphasis that it places on exploration, that players will see a certain similarity to Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, the two newest Zelda entries. And while on the subject of Norse mythology, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is another great open-world game that's likely to appeal to Zelda fans. The game's world is beautifully rendered and an absolute joy to explore, and although its gameplay can be a bit generic and repetitive at times, its excellent storytelling more than makes up for this. In terms of actual gameplay, there are very few similarities to be drawn between Death Stranding and Zelda. But for those looking to lose themselves on a journey of self-discovery, they're both able to scratch that same itch. The online social interactions in Kojima's epic walking simulator serve much the same way as those in Breath of the Wild, when players do encounter an NPC. A reminder that neither Sam nor Link are truly alone. Genshin Impact took the world by storm when it was released in late 2020. And while it doesn't quite offer anywhere near as much depth as Tears of the Kingdom, it arguably provides a lot more content thanks to its constant updates and events. Better still, it features a fairly decent multiplayer mode and is also free to play. Much like Breath of the Wild, the beautiful open world of Horizon Zero Dawn is sparsely populated, which can really help players become immersed in its beauty as they explore. The game's machines also bear quite a few similarities with the Guardians found throughout Hyrule, although arguably they feature a far more creative design. For as alike as the two games are though, there are still plenty of differences as well. For instance, combat is a lot more well realized in the PlayStation exclusive, and the art style is a lot less playful too. The Witcher 3 is another game that bears a lot of similarities to Breath of the Wild, but once again diverges when it comes to tone and art style. It's a much darker game, both when it comes to its general subject matter and the violent nature of its combat. The latter is further emphasized by a more true-to-life art style, which ultimately gives the game's world a very different feel than Hyrule. Despite being supplemented by patches and DLC, Final Fantasy XV's narrative remains a little disappointing, but when it comes to gameplay, however, it's one of the series' very best entries. Combat is very fluid and rewards those who take the time to understand it. While still rooted in fantasy, Immortals Phoenix Rising draws a lot of its inspiration from Greek mythology, and this can make for some wonderfully interesting encounters. Combat is solid too, although it can take a bit of getting used to when compared to other action-oriented open-world games. But once mastered, the mechanics are more than fit for purpose. And that's it for our list. Thank you so much for watching, and go to GameRant.com for more like this.